going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an awesome day today. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies up for the most part today. We actually have Bitcoin somewhat outpacing Ethereum, which we haven't really seen in the past few days. Ethereum, however, is still trying to get above that $400 level, but having a look at the Bitcoin chart, we also have a very significant resistance that Bitcoin is struggling with right now. We couldn't break it last week. We are trying to break it right now as I'm making this video, so we do need to talk about that specifically. What is going on in the Bitcoin chart? Why Bitcoin could potentially be back around the $12,000 level sooner than you think. I'm going to show you that there is massive Bitcoin demand accumulation from retail institutions. Also, I want to show you some bullish fundamentals, as well as go into the fact that gold has recently broke its all-time high yet again. What is going on? Why are people ditching cash for things like gold and silver? Will it benefit Bitcoin? Well, you'd be quite surprised to find out the results. Also, I want to talk about Morgan Creek co-founder Anthony Pompliano and why he thinks that Bitcoin could hit $400,000 very easily. All that today to talk about in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency news. And if that sounds good to you, well, you know what to do. If you're not subscribed, definitely consider it. It's going to be very exciting. I'm looking forward to it. We also have the announcement of the stimulus checks in the US coming out. That's going to have an effect most likely. We're going to get into all that today. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. If you're not subscribed, consider it. We do daily Bitcoin updates every single day. Turn on the bell notifications. You don't want to miss out. And without further ado, let's dive into the chart. So, having a look right here, you notice that, yes, we have a green candle on the monthly so far, so this is looking pretty good for Bitcoin. You can see we easily broke above the previous resistance. I moved this line yesterday to get in line with the July close, which was extremely bullish, and currently we are putting in a bit of a green candle. Now, it's a little bit of an indecisive month. You can see we've had a wick to the upside, a wick to the downside, and we're just kind of hanging right around in the middle. Now, having a look at what Immortal Technique over here says, or Immortal Crypto, he basically says, 11,500 is the most important level. You could see right here, and we have talked about this level multiple times on the chart. Just recently, it has acted as insane resistance. You can see right back here when we had the $14,000 candle back in June of last year. Right here, we had the month of July topping out at around the $11,540 level. Again, we tried August of 2019. Both times got rejected. And currently, we're trying to break on it right now as I'm making this video. In fact, last week we were able to have that monthly close above it, but the weekly close, we just couldn't do it. So keep your eyes on this $11,540 level for the weekly. If we can close this candle above that level for this week, well, that gives us a bullish monthly close and a bullish weekly close. And that, my friends, is basically the nail in the coffin for the Bitcoin blast off. Now, are we out of the water just yet? Well, we have been supported by this purple trend right here, so there is that possibility. And we could have Bitcoin try to have a fake out. You know, we could potentially come down to retest these levels at around the $11,230. We also do have this, basically this previous resistance turned support right here, which is around the $10,500 level. Now, obviously, some people are still saying that we need to close the CME futures gap. Well, we did have the Bitcoin super trend finally print a buy signal. We spoke about this in yesterday's video, and you could see, having a look at Bitcoin's trend right here. Actually, sorry, this is over on Bybit, but if we do look at the longer trend, you will notice that once it does go into the buy, once we do get that buy signal, it usually signals the beginning of an extreme macro bullish trend for Bitcoin, right? Now, that doesn't mean that we can't have some pullbacks in the meantime, but talking about the CME futures gap that everybody does think we need to potentially fill, that is way, way, way down here at around $9,665. Now, having a look over here at the CME chart, you notice that the CME is a little bit different when it comes to the resistance. In fact, the candle that we're looking to beat was this one back here in August, same month, but that is actually closer to the $11,945 level. So it depends on which chart you're looking at. For CME, we could potentially push up just below the $12,000 level before really hitting that major resistance. And for me, I like to look at both of these charts. I think they're both equally as important, the spot Bitcoin as well as this chart as well. But you can see right here, we are still well above the 21 exponential moving average. And let me show you the pattern that I am looking at that signals that Bitcoin could potentially be setting up for a massive blast off move, and that is our good old buddy, the double bottom pattern. Now, you may notice that from watching this channel, we speak about that from time to time, and this is a pattern that shows up all over Bitcoin time after time again. It's just as infamous as the Bart Simpson head, and you can see right here when we had the peak on July 27th, okay, look, Bitcoin peaked out here, we had a bottom. We bounced back up, touched it again, we came down, we touched it again. That confirmed the double bottom. We had a little bit of a bounce off and boom, Bitcoin took off. Now, we did the exact same thing again, right? We had the dump, right? So here was the same point of resistance. So we came down, touched the resistance again. Bitcoin came back down again. Here we go right here. Confirmed that we had the double bottom, and look, Bitcoin is starting to break out again. Now, we would assume that Bitcoin would have that target of breaking back up to the top, but let me show you something even more potentially bullish, and that's the fact that if we take these two double bottoms and smash them together, Bitcoin has actually printed one giant double bottom, okay? So this is bullish for Bitcoin. We have the two smaller ones right here, and we have the one giant one right here. So as far as I'm concerned, this chart looks bullish. It looks like Bitcoin should be headed back to $12,000, but you know, I could be wrong, and we could close that CME futures gap. And if we do, it's going to be kind of hard to say that these things don't actually fill if we actually do fill that gap. Now, if we don't fill the gap, well, then I'll be one happy individual because then we don't have to pay attention to this damn gap all the time, right? So having a look right here, though, like I said, we do have that bullish buy signal. And yeah, we are above the 21 exponential on the monthly. And I mean, look at the last few times we broke above it. Back here, November 2015, boom, we had a multi-year run, fell below it, massive crash, got back above it, pumped to $14,000, right? So Max Kaiser, he says that the $20,000 level for Bitcoin won't pose any resistance. He says we won't see any resistance until 28,000. That's interesting. We're not going to see any resistance around the 20K level. He says a brief pullback, then the assault on the $100,000 Bitcoin begins with renewed vigor. Now, gold made another all-time high right now as we're watching this chart. Right now, gold just got up to $2,052. That is literally, we just witnessed history live on the gold chart. Gold just hit an all-time high. So is this good for Bitcoin? Well, let me show you something interesting before I talk about that. We saw that Bitcoin did have some spikes right here in the beginning of March. People were getting excited about the halving, kind of died off. And just recently, the search results for Bitcoin have started to spike again. And we're back to levels that we haven't seen since, right around sort of the third week of May. So there is that interest in Bitcoin. Now look at this. The latest data shows a growing accumulation for safe haven investors as well, not only into Bitcoin and Ethereum, but also obviously into things like gold, probably why we're seeing gold pump right now. Meanwhile, Bitcoin futures on the CME reported an increase in their open interest and volume that hit a one-year high above $700 million. So that shows you we have the institutional interest right there, right? Assets under management of Grayscale Trust also reached an all-time high. So this is for some of the retails. The firm's accumulation of $5.1 billion in Bitcoin this year sparked a lot of interest. You can see their products crossed the $1 billion mark. Ronnie Moas, the founder of Standpoint Research, sees the ongoing trend catalyst that could easily send Bitcoin to $20,000. He says Bitcoin will double before the S&P 500 hits 4,000, all but guaranteed. He says portfolio managers need to wake up and smell the coffee. And not to mention Jack Dorsey, okay, he's the CEO of Twitter. He also owns Cash App. And basically their Q2 2020 reports just came out, and nearly half of their $1.92 billion total revenue was due to Bitcoin. As a result, Square's shares also pumped as well. Now listen to this. This is a direct quote from them. Cash App generated 875 million of Bitcoin revenue and 17 million of Bitcoin gross profit during the second quarter of 2020, up 600% and 711% year over year, respectively. Bitcoin revenue and gross profit benefited from an increase in Bitcoin activities and growth in customer demand. So it's not like it's just randomly going up because, people that already buy Bitcoin are buying more, or some of the institutions that were already in. No, this is new customer demand coming in. The company outlined that it reached over 30 million monthly transacting activities in June from all of its features. However, when new users registered, the first product they turned to was Cash Card Direct Deposit and, you guessed it, Bitcoin investing. The total revenue generated by Cash App has also surged significantly by 64% over the past year, up to 1.92 billion. There you go. That is, I don't know what more proof we need to show that Bitcoin demand is absolutely growing. Now, here's the fun part of the video where we throw out an insane Bitcoin price prediction, because why not, right? It's Wednesday. I don't know what that means, but let's have a prediction. So, Morgan Creek Digital co-founder and prominent Bitcoin advocate Anthony Pompliano, you guys are probably familiar with him, he thinks that Bitcoin will hit 400,000. How does he come up with this number? Well, let's talk about it. So we have gold pumping. That's a hint. But he says, here's what I'll tell you. Name me a business that was analog, got digitized, and the digital version turned out to be smaller than the analog version. It doesn't happen. It's because digitization brings all kinds of advantages. It's a market expanding technology. He says there are people who would debate what the size of the gold market is, but let's just say roughly it's 8 trillion. Maybe a little higher today because gold is at an all-time high. This puts Bitcoin, if Bitcoin was to reach the market cap of gold at 8 trillion currently today, at between $400,000 to $450,000 per Bitcoin. Do you think that Bitcoin is going to be the equivalent of gold or market cap, he asks? He says, I don't. It's better. It's going to capture more market. He says, one day I believe we'll say that Bitcoin is the largest currency in the world in terms of market cap, and it will have no one controlling it. Not enough for you? Not getting excited yet for the Bitcoin price? Okay, how about this, guys? According to data from on-chain monitoring resource Glassnode, as of August 4th, the average weekly new entity count has returned to about 140,000, its highest level since 2018. This is basically referring to wallet addresses defined as a cluster of addresses that are controlled by the same network entity. Overall growth in activity comes as price action flips bullish above $10,000 with 5 figures holding as support. But what about our good old buddy Ethereum, still trying to break above the $400 level? Well, having a look right here, another statistic from Glassnode, Ethereum's aggregate security spend, or what's known as their thermocap, has just reached 7 billion. This is the total generated by the network, block rewards paid to miners, and can be used as a measure of the true capital flow into Ethereum. So, I don't know, guys. That looks like a pretty bullish chart to me. So looking good for gold, looking good for Bitcoin, looking good for Ethereum, looking good for silver if you're into silver, right? Lots of things to be excited about. Now, yes, of course, we could have those retests. Maybe we'll close the CME futures gap, but there is nothing that I am seeing right now that is telling me that I should be bullish on Bitcoin, despite maybe like capping out a little too high, needing a pullback and having to cool off a little bit, right? Having a look right here, though, let's talk about Bitcoin adoption. Now, this is huge news that came out. As you may or may not know, Unstoppable Domains. It's definitely one of my favorite crypto products out there. So basically right here, you can see that Coinbase wallet, okay, Coinbase being one of the, whether or not you like or hate them, they're definitely huge. And basically they have integrated with Unstoppable Domains, and now you can send crypto to anyone that has a .crypto address. So this is a human readable name. If you don't know what Unstoppable Domains is, basically you can host websites, and you can also have many different, you can have your Bitcoin, Zilliqa, Ethereum, all the ERC20 tokens, Litecoin, right? All linked to your address, and it's human readable names. So basically, if you wanted to send some crypto to me, you could send it to zombie Crypto, right? Or KW.crypto or something like that, instead of having to worry about a giant string of numbers. In fact, I actually have a demo that we did of somebody sending me something, and I just want to show you this real quick. So basically, you just open your app. You see right here, you could search for me. So zombie.crypto. Boom, there's my address, $5, facial scan, and sent. And it is literally that easy, guys. That is literally how easy it is. So check out Unstoppable Domains. I do have links below in the description for it. Obviously, if you do use the link, you are helping to support the channel. But this is definitely what we need. More things like this, pushing crypto adoption, making it easier. We're seeing the demand. We're seeing gold hit all-time highs. It's really hard to be bearish on Bitcoin right now, guys, despite maybe filling the CME futures gap and maybe having a small pullback before blast off. But in my opinion, we are definitely headed for the moon. We could be going to $12,000 sooner than you think, sooner than I think. And, you know, some people were saying that they didn't think we could hit an all-time high this year. At the rate that Bitcoin is moving, I think it's very possible. In fact, last year, or when we hit the all-time high, Bitcoin actually went from the levels that we're at right now to 20K in about 2 weeks. It's very possible, guys. So that is it for me today. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. You know, excuse me for being extremely bullish. Look, I get it. We can have pullbacks. I get it. You know, whatever. There could be 20, 30% crashes, but everything right now is looking both fundamentally and technically healthy for Bitcoin. I'm excited. Are you excited? Let me know what you're doing. Are you shorting the top? Are you waiting for the CME futures gap? Are you buying altcoins? Are you sitting in fiat? What are you doing? I'm interested. Drop your comments below. Thanks again for coming back to the channel. My name is KW. This is CryptoZombie. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.